All right, so today's class is going to be on the more gentle side, and you're going to need a few props: a chair, a bolster, or a stack of pillows, or a couch cushion, and a strap, probably. All right, so we're going to start sitting in our chairs today. How about in the room? Anybody have any? Yeah. Anybody have any special needs or requests today?
No, the usual.
The entire body.
Yeah.
The
All right.
entire body.
It's rough.
Okay, you got it. Whole body, gentle.
We need a chair.
Yeah, we're gonna sit in the chairs to start.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Be careful, don't sit back too hard. Okay, if you don't have a chair without a back, you have a yoga chair. So you want to just make sure you're sitting up nice and tall. So maybe sit on the edge if you have a yoga chair.
Don't lean back too much.
Yeah, don't lean back too hard. Okay, my introduction is going to be a little long today, hopefully not too long, and then we'll work with what I'm presenting today for a few weeks. And so while you're sitting here, feel free to move your neck, your shoulders, whatever else would feel good. Turn our overhead pieces off. Okay, so over the last few weeks, we've been working with the concept of non-attachment, and we've talked about how that comes in different levels, in different philosophies, and that we'll all have our own preference of how non-attached we are to both physical things and also our physical self, identity. From that idea of non-attachment, like there's just the acknowledgement of the need to be attached to physical things, that we need nourishment, we are part of the earth. So to be fully non-attached to our earthly experience is not realistic while we're alive in a body. Yoga Sutras is the first time that a yoga practice is presented, and it's not about asana, it's really about mindset and the mindfulness that we use in yoga practice. And so the very first line is that now begins the practice of yoga, and then it says yoga is the calming of the fluctuations in the field of consciousness. And it's important that we remember that none of the lines really should ever be taken out of context, but they are. That's how we kind of understand things. So I'm going to say what the next line is in a moment. But the calming of the fluctuations in the field of consciousness is our own individual mind, but also our collective. And so the idea being, because we're all parts of the collective, if we can get ourselves to calm, we can also kind of ripple that out, right? So we're making it a positive influence that way. The next line that comes after it says that once you calm the fluctuations in the consciousness, then you are able to see truthfully your true essence and your inner radiance. And so that is referring to spirit, the spirit that is within us as an individual and the spirit that's in all of us together. So that goal is to connect with the spiritual aspect of self. Then the whole rest of the book talks about how to practice yoga, why to practice yoga, the challenges in practicing yoga, how to overcome the challenges, and then the benefits. And then it finishes, and yoga in its original sense is a state of being where you feel yoked, connected to your spirit, that you don't feel separate, that you feel like your whole self, physical and spiritual self, and connected with everything else. And it tells you that you will have achieved yoga once you have overcome 4 aims of life. I'm going to tell you what the 4 aims of life are in a moment, and what's called the gunas. And the gunas are like the basically elements of physical reality, so that you've lived them, you've done your best working with them, and then in the end you will overcome them, and then hopefully you'll have done a good enough job that you get to go to a good place next time around, or in the end, whatever your spiritual belief is. Okay, so we're going to start to work with the 4 aims of life. The 4 aims of life, the first one is Dharma, and the second one is Artha. Now, they could be really seen as similar, depending on the philosophy. So Dharma means truth. It means basically that's just the way it is. Like, that's kind of what Dharma means. And the truth is, we all have a role to play in life. In some senses of yoga, remembering that it was developing during the caste system, I would say it's negative. Like, your role is to be in this caste and not to intermingle with that caste. So in a sense, Dharma would have been controlling. So sometimes if you ever see it, you'll see it presented that way, that you should just accept your role and play your role and be satisfied with what your role is. I don't think most of us jive with that. So your Dharma, in that sense, your Dharma is your own personal purpose. And the beautiful thing about growing up, living when we live, is we do get to choose that to a certain degree. So what's your purpose or your role? Artha, sometimes that's used instead. And your Artha is your work. So Artha is where you're putting effort in, and it also is the thing that contributes to your prosperity and basically just your ability to get your needs met. So Dharma, we're going to think purpose. Artha, the work that we put in to provide for ourselves, to give ourselves an opportunity to be alive. Kama is the next one, and Kama is pleasure, enjoyment, love, connection, relationships. So that enjoying your life is one of the 4 main goals of a yoga practitioner. And then 4th is moksha, and that's spiritual freedom. And that will mean different things for everybody, but that you have a sense of connecting to your spirit, and that you can feel spiritually free even when life is challenging for you. And that really is one of the primary goals of yoga. No matter how different the yoga systems are, this idea of spiritual liberation is kind of the goal. Okay, so I built this class based around this idea of balancing those 4 aims, but we're going to work mostly on 2, the Artha, the work, and Kama, the pleasure. So I made it a nice, easy class. The other little component I'm working with, sometimes I'm talking to you about the solar terms. So solar terms come from Chinese agriculture primarily. So it's just tracking the year. And then someone sent me a message and told me there's Japanese micro seasons also. So both of them are acknowledging that we're in this time where the plants are beginning to come to fruit or grain. So in Chinese, it's actually called small grain. So it's recognized that there's little buds of the grain. They're not ready for harvesting, but they're there, and they need cultivation. And then in Japanese, it is the time of silkworms feeding on mulberry leaves. Now, I happen to have a mulberry tree in my yard, and it is really an exciting time out there for those birds. So there's all these pretty colors and lots of purple poop, but it's acknowledging kind of this rich time of life. And both small wealth and the mulberry season is acknowledging the beauty of small pleasures. And I think sometimes, like I'm feeling, and that, we grow in life and we can't do the things that once gave us pleasure. And there really is effort required to find pleasurable things again. And so I just kind of wanted to acknowledge that part of life where sometimes we have to work for the joy. And so to find that balance of working to support ourselves, but also working to keep space for comfort and pleasure and joy. So I hope today's class feels nice and comfortable and pleasurable. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and snuggle back into the seats now and have your feet planted and let your eyes close for a moment. And just take a few deep breaths in and out. And then I'm gonna just offer you the invitation to think about this idea of life balance. And you might think of those 4 aims of life, but you might think of something different, something more simple or more complex. And our yoga practice isn't the place to solve the problems, but it is the place that we can kind of put a contemplation into this space where we're slowing down in our day and working in a more holistic and integrated way with the whole self, our mind, our heart, our body. And then we can open up little pathways that maybe we will receive some insights as we move through the practice today. And the focal point for the practice is this balancing, the effort, the work, the Artha, and the Kama, the pleasure, the ease. And remembering the value in small things. There is really incredible value in small movement. And that's part of the thing that we're going to focus on today is accessible movement and just moving our body through all of its capacity of range of motion in a gentle and small but potent way. Just letting yourself take a few more moments, feeling into your body, creating a mental focal point for yourself that maybe involves the theme that's presented or maybe something else. Having a sense of opening up your mind in a way that you can listen on a deep level to your own inner guidance. And we'll just take a few more quiet breaths here, making sure that the breath is moving in a steady and rhythmic pace. And let's do a few rounds of breathing in through the nose and then audible exhale out through the mouth. And we can just move at our own pace here. Thinking about the way that at the ocean, the individual waves just kind of wash over each other, that we don't have to match. That you might be breathing out when someone else is breathing in. You're just established in a sense of your own rhythm and using today's practice to take care of yourself in the ways that you need care today. And let your breathing come back to more relaxed and natural pace. And then just let your chin dip down to your chest. And feel the back of your neck gently round there. Encourage your lower jaw to relax. And just have a sense of being in a position where you're going to look for the versions of the pose that just feel the best today. That feel kind and sweet and caring and nurturing. We give ourselves a good dose of self-love. Kama actually means love, like that's the literal translation. The sense of enjoyment that we get when we are in a state of loving kindness. We're going to bring our hands behind our head now and open your eyes. And if you're in the backless chair, be extra careful here. Just gently lean back over the back edge of the chair. Feel the way that the back edge of the chair helps you to lift up right behind your heart. Let your chin lift. Maybe let the elbows stretch a little further away from each other. Inhale big and full. So Kama is also associated with our sensual capacity to feel sensual pleasure and enjoyment. Good, we're going to come sit back up straight and sit on the edge of your chair. So you can sit really tall. And then just let your head drop over your right shoulder. And let the left shoulder hang heavy. Again, focusing on relaxing the left side, neck, jaw, throat. And then bring your right hand behind you on the chair and stretch your left arm to the ceiling. And it feels good, lean a little further to your right. And stay with your breath. And then sit tall and drop your left hand to your outer right knee, keeping the spine tall, twist to your right. Have a sense of the whole spine rotating. Big deep breaths in and out. And we're going to release out and just cross your arms and lean over your legs and let your head hang down and maybe wiggle it or wobble it. And again, we're trying to not be in the place of overworking anything today and really trying to move in a way that feels the most pleasurable. And come on up, sit nice and tall, and drop your head over your left shoulder. And let the right shoulder hang heavy, neck and throat, full deep breaths in and out. Your head leaning to the left, bring your left hand behind you and stretch your right arm to the ceiling. Stretch tall. And then only if it feels good, lean over to your left. Stay connected to your breath. See if you can have a sense of expansion on the inhalation and then the idea and the feeling of release on the exhalation. And then sit tall and gently turn to your left. And your right hand come to the outer knee. Spine tall, and you're working a twist all the way through the spine, wherever you can twist. Your lower back twisting a little bit, your middle back, your neck, your head. Big breaths here, making sure that we're not shutting off the energetic flow. the center and cross your forearms, and once again, let your head hang down. And feel free to move it around a little bit there. All right, we're gonna come up, and you're gonna turn yourself to sit on the corner of your chair. And some people might want to have blocks out in front. We're gonna do a forward fold. I think probably most of the people in the room maybe won't need them. Your hands on your thighs and just start to hinge forward. You can put your forearms on your thighs and interlace your fingers and let your head hang down. And then if you're comfortable to do so, let your hands come all the way to the ground and fold all the way down. Stay connected to your breath. And make sure that you're not efforting. Make sure that you're not trying to push down to the ground, that there really is this strong element of release and ease. Good, come on up. You do need a block for this one, so find your block. And you're gonna put the block between your knees. And squeeze tight enough. You can be sitting straight on the chair for this one. I'm turning just for the camera, sometimes when I'm turning that time sometimes. Squeeze tight enough that you feel your inner thigh muscles working. So active there, the work is there. And then let your spine extend up. And with that big squeeze, twist to your right. Your left hand coming to your outer right knee, your right hand behind you. Lift tall and twist to the amount that feels good for you. Just having a sense of where it does feel good to turn and where maybe you need to be a little more conscientious, careful, and restrictive. Sometimes we need to do the work of holding back. Good. Release. Take the block away and just let it come on your thighs so you really get the inner thighs to turn off. So you want to contract and release. And then let's put that block back in. Sit nice and tall. And then to the amount that feels good for you, twist to your left. Keep the knees squeezing tight. So you have an active inner thigh engagement. We're strengthening the inner thighs that really are the root of our central core. Good deep breaths in and out. All right, unwind. We're gonna go back to the corner, back to sitting on the corner. And you're gonna keep one knee bent and the other leg straight. It doesn't matter which one, so just whichever feels better for you. And then you're leaning between the legs. So you get a little bit of an inner thigh stretch for that straight leg. You do need to be aware that you could slip off the corner of the chair. So your effort is there, making sure that you're not sliding. And then if it works in your body, you might release the hands down lower on the block or maybe all the way to the floor. And find your breath. And then nice and slow, come on up and change legs. The other leg is going straight, the other one's bending. You don't have to move your body at all. Lift tall through your spine and then hinge at your hips. And your hands can come down to the place that feels good for you. And if your body's ready for it, if it feels good, you can release deeper into the fold. Stay connected to your breath. Nice and easy, come on up. Okay, we're gonna do a supported lunge situation here. So you're gonna turn to your right. Your left leg is the forward leg. Take it behind you as far back as you can go. So it can go back bent, or for some of you, you might be able to stretch it back straight. Remember, don't overwork. So you're finding like the spot that feels balanced, that there's a little work to get to that place that just really feels good. If you need help with balance, your right hand will stay on your chair. Stretch your left arm to the ceiling if that works in your body. And if you're comfortable to do so, both arms can reach up. And we have one more progression. You can put your hands behind your head and then lift your chest to the sky. The way that you know you're in a good place is that your breath flows easily, smooth and steady. Good, we're gonna release out and pivot. pivot around. Your left leg is off to the left. You're going to be far enough on the front edge of the chair that you can try to get that back knee to point down if possible. Mary, maybe take your leg more to the side. Yeah.
That might help.
And then you're just going to the place that feels challenging but good. And we can start with one arm overhead. And we might take both arms overhead. And we might bring the hands behind the head. And feel the chair supporting you. And into that support, push even stronger down through that left hip and lift up through your belly, through your spine, through your arm. Another breath or two there. Good, everybody. Release. Come just sit in your chair for a moment. Just a quiet, settled moment. Let yourself see a full deep breath as a simple pleasure. That it is this essential element of life. And very often our breathing is short and shallow, and we get the thing we need to get from one moment to the next, but maybe we could just soften and receive a little bit more and really let that breath feel nourishing and feel good. Let it feel restorative and regenerative. All right, as you're ready, let your eyes open and we're gonna pick up our straps. We did a lot of shoulder work last week, so we're just gonna do a little bit of shoulder work today. I'm gonna turn kind of sideways and backward for this one. You're gonna stay in your chair. Sit at the front edge and then take your right arm over your head and the left hand low and behind your back. Part one, you're going to use your left hand to pull the right arm in tighter behind your head and lift your chin. And you're pulling that left hand down so you feel a little bit of stretch in your right tricep, but try to maintain the lift in your sternum and the lift in your chin. Good, deep breath in and out. We need to protect the left shoulder when we do this part. You're going to push your left shoulder back. And then use your right arm to lift the left arm up and behind. Let your chin lift again. Find your breath. Feel that stretch across the front of the left shoulder. And if it is comfortable in your body, you can walk your hands closer to each other on that strap. You're creating some compression and resistance here. Use your breath to stretch out against the compression. Good. Release. And just roll things out however feels the best for you. Then we'll do the other side. You're taking your left arm overhead and your right hand behind. And we're going to start by pulling the right arm down so the left arm gets pulled in a little tighter. Try to keep your chin lifted on this one. If your forearm is behind your head, you can use your head to kind of push the arm a little further back. And then make sure that your right shoulder is protected by rolling it back. And use the left hand to pull the right arm a little higher up your back. And then maybe your hands find each other on the strap. Keep breathing, staying connected to your breath. Good, and then when you're ready, you can release. We'll just drop the strap away and just take some time to move your head, your neck, your shoulders. All right, for this one, we're going to sit further back in the chair and stretch your right leg forward, holding the leg up. So we're going to build a little bit of quad strength just by holding that knee as tight and straight as we can and point and flex your foot. And you get to watch it, right? So you can kind of see where are all 5 toes moving together. Is it easier to flex or point? Can we exaggerate both of them? A little stronger point, a little tighter pull back. And then circle out your ankle and wiggle your toes. Good, we're gonna lower that leg down and take the left leg out. Squeeze the knee tight. And then point, flex. And try to get all 5 toes to participate. And maybe exaggerate the movement. Our feet are something that definitely over time get limited, mostly because we spend time in shoes. So really trying to exaggerate their movement capacity. And then circle your ankle and wiggle your toes. Good, go ahead and release your leg down. We're gonna stand up and we'll use the chair as a reference point and for some balance work. So I'm just going to turn sideways to stay forward. Put the back edge of the chair at the front of your mat, or you can be on the hardwood, that looks good. Do our heel lifts, lift and lower. And we want to remember that more than just getting up and down, we're trying not to push forward. So really trying to be on the elevator, not the escalator, keeping the shoulders back and the head tall. Nice and steady, a good pulse, working our calves. And then we're gonna lift and hold and try to get to the highest point you can. Squeeze your butt a little bit, squeeze your belly in, shoulders back, head back, and then maybe we play with making balancing more challenging by taking one or both hands away. If we wobble, that's okay. If we fall down, we just go back up. Okay, good. Come on down. Calf stretch for the right leg. Step your right foot back, the heel down. And for the first part, we're just focused on that lower leg stretch. So really, in a sense, smashing that heel down to the amount that feels good in our own body. Making sure your breath is flowing. And then if you're comfortable and ready, one arm will reach up. Now, if you feel your lower back doing a big arch when you stretch your arm up, try to keep the low belly hugging in so the low back stays long. If you're comfortable too, both arms can go up. And you're pushing down strong through the legs, rooting down through the tailbone, and lifting up through the inner belly. And if you feel comfortable and confident and brave, you might bring your hands behind you and arc back a little bit more. Looking up at the ceiling turns it into a balance challenge, so we have to be careful with that one. Good, we're gonna bring our hands back to the chair and stretch your front leg straight. Try to level off your hips, so if they were headlights, they're both pointing forward, not sideways. Bend your front knee a little bit. And then from your hips, hinge forward. You can put your forearms on the back of your chair and let your head rest down. Now, you can micro adjust. So if you feel like you feel a little awkward, you might walk your feet back or forward to make it feel more comfortable. Stay connected to your breath. For most of us, this is probably not the biggest stretch, but it's a nice balanced stretch. The hips are balanced, the spine is long. A couple more breaths here. Good, let's come on up and switch sides. So we're gonna go back for calf Achilles stretch first. Your right foot is forward, the left foot is back and down. We're still leaning in a little bit, so really focusing on the stretch in that lower left leg. Effortful, but effortful in a way that supports a position that feels good. And then we're gonna start to work upright, one arm, tailbone down. Maybe the other arm, maybe not. Finding your breath, feeling for balance. Physical balance and opening the mind up to the idea of life balance, energy balance. If you're comfortable and ready, you might bring your hands behind your head and arc back. You might feel your feet adapting to help you stay balanced in that transition. If we can, we're looking up, which definitely makes it a lot harder. Good. Hands to your chair. Stretch your front leg straight. Square off your hips. Bend your front knee a little bit, and then from your hips, hinge and fold. And feel free to place your arms on the back of the chair, let your head rest down. Couple of good deep breaths there, in and out. All right, we're gonna take chair dog. So our hands at the back of the chair, Both feet are walking back and you're stretching your hips back. Your knees can be a little bent or all the way straight, just whatever feels better in your body. And you might kind of move things around a little bit in your body so that the stretch feels pleasurable. That we come in to do our yoga work, but that we also enjoy the process. All right, good, everyone. Come on up, and we're gonna sit back down. Okay, so if we had any hip or knee issues that we want to be careful about twisting, we could stick with this one where we had the block between the knees because it helps stabilize things. But if you're comfortable to do so, you're going to cross your right knee all the way over the left knee. And then left hand to outer right knee, and we're lifting tall and twisting through the waist. Big deep breaths in and out. If you have the block, you're just squeezing. If you don't have the block, use your left hand to push your right knee further to the left. So you really have this feeling of the right leg starting to move to the left side of your body. Make sure that you're not overworking. The way you know you're not overworking is that your breath is smooth and calm and enjoyable. Good. Unwind and then slide the right ankle over your left knee. The only way this stretch works is if we stay tall. If you slouch, you lose it. So you're going to sit very tall and then start to hinge forward over that bent leg. Stay with your breath. Remember, more movement isn't necessarily better movement. Ideally, things start to soften a little bit as we hold it, and if that is happening, you might hinge in a little deeper. If you're on the more flexible side, you might cross your arms and let the head hang down there. Don't feel like you have to force to get to that version. Good, come on up, and we'll take the other side. So we're going to cross the left knee over the right knee if we can. Otherwise, we're just squeezing that block. Lifting tall. Left hand behind you, right hand to your outer left knee. And as you're twisting your body to your left, you're trying to pull the left leg over to the right. Keep breathing. Feel the way that your whole body is participating here. Think about keeping that left shoulder lifting up and back. Try not to let the left shoulder collapse forward. Couple more breaths. Okay, and as you're ready, release and slide the left ankle over the right knee. Sit tall. And then to the amount that works for you, hinge, keeping your spine long and tall. So there is effort, there is work in the upper body staying lifted, not collapsing down. Try to keep the breath deep. All right, and come on up. We're gonna come standing, and we're gonna do some standing balance work. I'm gonna suggest everyone comes to the wall for this one, and I will turn this camera so the front wall, you won't be on camera if you come up there.
Do we need any props?
No props, nope. Okay, so from that, oh, we're good? All right. Okay, we're gonna just start off with stork. So we're gonna stand with our right hand on the wall. Lift your chest tall, and then just lift your left knee up so your foot comes up off the floor. So you're simply standing on the right leg with the left leg lifted. If you feel comfortable too, you can start to work your hands off the wall. If you feel extra comfortable, both arms can reach overhead. If you feel really comfortable, confident, and brave, we could do the little hands behind the head and look up situation, which makes things very, very, very challenging. Stay with your breath. I hope that you feel your right butt cheek working a little bit, toning. Good. Release it all down and shake it out. Anyone not feel your butt working? Okay.
I did it second time.
All right. Other side. Standing on the left leg. Lift your right knee up. Now we're just going basic first, just finding our balance. Maybe then taking hands off. Maybe taking arms up. And if we're really comfortable, confident, maybe hands behind the head and arcing back a little bit. Keep breathing. Good. Release down and shake things out. Nice. Okay, I'm going to turn this a little bit. Okay, so this next one, I do want you to use the wall because it just, if you use the chair, you have to lean forward. I'm going to use a chair just so you can see. And everybody in the room, I think, has done this before. So this is our standing figure eight. So again, your hands will be on the wall. And we're going to go slow. The knee goes across and the foot follows. So think of a kite. The head of the kite, the tail of the kite. We're going to go really big. And then the next part is that you go so small that your hip doesn't move. It's just the leg. Okay, so we're going to go stand on your right leg. Lift your left knee. Bend the standing knee a little bit. Swing your left knee over to the left. Your hips can turn this time. Then turn your knee to the left and swing the leg to the left and to the right and to the left. And we're just going to go big on round one. Make it as big as you can so you get a lot of motion in the hip socket. Motion is medicine for our joints and tissues as long as it's in the right dose for us as an individual. Okay, great. Let's do the other side really big. The knee leads, the foot follows. Okay, good. Go back to side one. Now this is really small. You're just trying to get your leg bone to move, not your hip bone to move. And that is harder than it sounds. Remember, the knee is going to point the direction. Your knees will point right, the foot will follow. The knee will point left, the foot will follow. And then over time, maybe you can make the movement bigger, but try to keep the hips still. Good, everyone. Really nice. Let's do the other side. Try to get the upper leg to move, so not just the foot. Try to get the upper leg. Yeah, there you go. Okay, good. And then shake things out. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to do two stretches that we've already done a little bit, and you get to either do the easier version or the more challenging version. So they are, one is standing figure four at the wall. If that's not good for you, you can go back and do it at the chair. And the other one is standing quad, or you can do your crescent lunge at the chair. Okay, so I'm just going to give you the time to do them both yourself, in the way that you like. And you can do them in the order that you like. So we're just looking to release that outer hip. A couple of breaths on each side. So let's say maybe 4 or 5 breaths in each pose on each side. Hip stretch and then quad stretch. And when you're all balanced out, you can come back to your spot in the middle of the room. Okay, this is a new one. I'm honestly in love with it. I don't know if you're gonna be.
Do tell.
There's one nice thing and one challenging thing. Okay, so you're gonna use your bolster and a block. And you're going to lay your stomach on the bolster, which is honestly a little bit of an awkward situation because it's not really balanced. And that's good for us. When we have to work for balance, it helps us increase balance. I want you to put your pelvis on the low end, and then your ribs are up on it. And then you can put a block for your forehead to rest straight down. So do what you need to do, and Mary, it should be long. You want it to be like your whole body on it. Yeah. I'm gonna give everybody time just to settle into it. Okay, now I want you to feel that because your knees are down, but your hips are up, it tucks the pelvis a tiny bit for us. And I want you to see if you can exaggerate the tuck part. So you're tucking the tailbone down, and the low belly is lifting up towards the crown of your head. And then place your hands in line with your lower ribs on the floor. And lift your elbows up. So now you're already in a little tiny cobra, which is nice. In a moment, you're gonna have the opportunity to lengthen forward and maybe lift a little bit. But the thing I want you to think about is try to not let your lower back arch more than it is already. And the way that you resist the arching of the back is you keep the low belly hugging in. Now, think of a turtle in its shell, but its eyes looking on the ground, and stretch your neck forward like you're trying to stretch your neck out of the shell of your rib cage. And then push into your hands, and pushing forward, start to lift yourself up a little bit. So you are now in a supported upward facing dog variation. Find your breath and just continue to focus on length. So the nice thing about this is we get a little bit of an upper back extension without the low back getting crunched. Okay, lower down, and you can either rest on your stomach here, or you can push back to child's pose. And if you go to child's pose, you can cross your arms up on the bolster and let your head rest down. Just make sure you're comfortable in this moment. Okay, this next exercise, we used to do laying flat, but being elevated makes it, I'm gonna say, much healthier and more accessible. So you're gonna come back to laying on, I'll show you this one first. You're gonna come back to laying on the bolster as comfortable as you can get yourself. Your forehead down, and then part one, you're gonna reach your arms forward with the elbows straight. We're gonna lift one arm as high as we can with the arm straight forward, not going out to the side, and the elbow not bending. We'll do the other side, and then maybe we'll do both at the same time and hold, or you might pulse one and then the other. Okay, so you're starting off comfortable, your arms straight forward in front of you. Put the effort in your arms straight at the elbows, all the way straight, so you feel your elbows squeezing, your triceps working. And then lift one arm up, just as high as you comfortably can, and feel the challenge, feel the strengthening that's happening in the back of the right shoulder blade. Good, lower your right arm down, and lift your left arm up. Remember this idea that we're working with is small wealth, that small things are valuable, so we don't always have to do the hardest thing. Lower the left hand down. See how it feels to lift both arms and hold together. And if that causes strain, just go back to alternating one and then the other. So you have to be honest with yourself. What feels the most nurturing? Stay connected to your breath. What is the most loving? So if karma is both pleasure and love, how can you love yourself in a way that feels good? Sometimes we have to push a little bit, but not all the time. Good, everybody relax. Well done. Go back to child's pose if that felt good for you. What do we think? How did this feel? Good? Okay. Not terrible?
I like the support. I do too.
Yeah, okay. Okay, now we're gonna do supported fish. So for this one, we're turning our bolster sideways. And then you're gonna start off with the block on the high position behind your head. Your butt is gonna be on the ground. And then you're gonna lay your back on the bolster and put your head up on the block. If your shoulders let you, take your arms straight out to the sides so they kind of are hovering and hanging down between the bolster and the block. Now, based on your comfort, you can start to turn the head block lower and lower. So you might put it on the mid-height where it's on its side, or it's low height. And if you are very flexible in your upper body or very tall, you can put your hands behind your head and let your head rest to the ground. So again, let comfort be the guide. All right, do we have any questions or any problems here for anybody?
Shoulders.
Yeah, I would scooch your body back. Yeah. Okay, everyone's good? All right, so you just get to rest there for a few moments now. Keep your breath flowing in deep and full. And this gives us a nice heart opener, stretching the front ribs, giving a little bit of compression to the back ribs. You might think about breathing your breath into your back ribs. The majority of our work portion is pretty much finished at this point. We've got a little more to do. But really letting yourself settle into this space of softness and release. I'm going to imagine that most of you, like me, grew up hearing this phrase, no pain, no gain. And we know now that that is false as pertains to our bodies. And more than not hurting ourselves while we're working our body, science has now proven we don't get stronger necessarily in the effortful phase. Like our willpower can get stronger there in the effortful phase, but your body gets stronger in the recovery phase. So if we need motivation to just let ourselves rest sometimes, to really be aware of the value of rest, softness, of gentleness. And we might think of these solar terms that while the new fruits are blossoming, they can't withstand straight sunshine, right? There has to be the cloudy, quiet, wet days. The yin energy, that we need that balance of yin and yang energy. And really letting yourself rest as deeply as you can in this moment. Okay, we're gonna get ready to come out of this pose. I'm gonna just suggest probably the best way is to roll to your side and then push yourself up and off of your props. We're going to take windshield wipers, lying on your back, your knees bent and your feet wide apart, and let your knees rock gently side to side. Have the feet wide enough apart that you really have a sense of the independence of each leg, that they're not crowding each other. And then focus on your left knee dropping inward. The right knee can go out to the right if you want it to, but it might also keep pointing up to the ceiling to help give you some stability to really rotate the left leg inward. And then stretch your left arm over your head and stretch your left side body as long as you can there. Breath is smooth and steady and full and deep. And then bring your knees back to center and focus on the right leg dropping into the middle. We want to think about creating length more so than compression to the floor. So you're pushing your right knee away from your body. It will soften down. That left knee can go out or stay in, whatever works in your body. And then stretch your right arm over your head and pull the whole right body nice and long. Good. Release. Bring both knees into your chest and feel free to rock and roll a little bit there. And we're gonna do happy baby. So we're pointing our feet to the ceiling as we work our knees towards our shoulders. You can hold on behind your knees. Some people might be able to reach up there for your feet. And you can rock and roll there. And then take your legs wide. You can hold on to your inner knees here and circle your ankles and wiggle your toes. Stay connected to your breath. Place your feet back on the floor, the feet wide, and let the knees knock knee together. Constructive rest. Cross your arms and give yourself a tight hug across your body. Breathe into your rib cage against the compression. Stretch your arms outward. Take a big breath there. Re-wrap your arms, the other arm on top. Nice tight squeeze. Stretch the arms overhead as long as that's comfortable for you. Otherwise, just back out to the sides. Take a big breath there, encouraging length through the upper half of your body. Place your arms comfortably at your sides, wherever it feels good, and slide one leg straight. It doesn't matter which one. One leg is bent, one leg is straight. Have a sense of letting that straight leg stretch far away from your torso. So you have a sense of the straight leg, groin area lengthening and opening. And encourage that straight leg to relax as deeply as it can, as quickly as it can, so that there is that momentary drop of attachment, of release. Nice and easy, change sides. The straight leg bends in, the bent leg extends out. Take a moment to stretch it away first, and then let it relax as deeply as possible. Feel the bent leg offering support so the rest of the body can relax. And then for a moment, rebend both knees. Have your arms at your sides. And just give your hips a little lift up off the floor and a slight tuck of the pelvis under. Hold that for a moment. And then lower your hips back to the ground. And decide for yourself, is there anything else you need before we take our final relaxation pose? If you're ready for relaxation, head there. And if you need something else, go ahead and take your time for whatever it is you need. Make sure that you are in a really comfortable position that is pleasurable. And then allow yourself to begin the process of relaxation. Most of us were certainly trained to work. And in many cases, like the enjoyment aspect is an afterthought, whatever time is left. Maybe moments in our lives where we even forgot what gives us pleasure and joy. And part of that might be that sometimes there's such a production around what is pleasurable, enjoyable. Yoga invites us to drop into the simplicity of a singular moment. To drop any ideas of expectation or judgment. To a large degree, one of the teachings of yoga is that our essential nature is blissful. The word for that is ananda, bliss. Not exuberance, not sensationalism. Bliss, peace, ease, contentment, love. Because so many of us have been trained to be producers, we're used to putting the energy out, to building, creating, cultivating our work, our connections, our relationships, our activities. Much of yoga is built to help us find pleasure in a singular moment. And as we move through the journey of life, the game of life, we know it gets more challenging. And so we might allow ourselves to use our capacity of memory and to take stock of the work that we've done over a lifetime. The moments we built, the connections we built, the things, the people we cared for. That are likely rooted in love, kama. So kama, although we say pleasure, it really is love. And to have a sense of where that source of energy that you tapped into to do your work, to have a purpose in life, that source is within you. It was within you. It will always be you. You are that source. And so you have a sense of identifying with the energy of love and kindness and courage and compassion and creativity that is not just in you, but that is you. And that from a yogic point of view will carry on beyond the container of your physical body. And this is the moksha. This is the spiritual freedom. We talked about when we introduced the non-attachment, that the point of non-attachment practice is that from an Eastern point of view, it is our attachment to our physical reality that is the thing that amplifies our suffering. And that as we move through this process of softening attachment to our physical reality, we can feel a deeper, stronger integration into our spiritual reality. And that as your mind calms, you will have a sense of your inner true splendor. That inner nature is splendorous, radiant, vital, and bright. This is the inner light that we talk about when we say namaste. Having a sense of connection and integration into that inner light. We'll just take another quiet moment. Let your mind be open to your own inner wisdom here, receiving. Before we begin the process of rising back up, see if you can settle back even a level deeper. The body resting back, your sense of self-identity plugging in deeper. Let's take a few rounds of breath that feel both clearing and energizing, so adding an audible exhalation. Again, letting the waves of our breath wash over each other. As you're ready, perhaps bringing some gentle movement back to your body now. And taking your time to find your way back to your seat. Once you're in your seat, feel free to move things around, however feels good for you, and don't feel like you have to rush to get back up. If you're still working your way up, that's perfectly fine. Maybe rolling your head, your shoulders, your wrists, your fingers, your spine. Let's bring the hands together in front of our hearts. And just take a moment to feel connected, to feel plugged into the spirit within that is always with you. That is your inner guidance system that helps you on your path, your purpose, your Dharma, that supports you, that loves you. We'll finish with an Om, and we'll use our 3 breaths to coordinate. As we chant the sound of Om, to send our blessings out to each other, send the singular Om out and open ourselves up to receive many fold back. All right, so as you're ready, emptying your lungs. Long breath in. Another one like that. Full breath. Gentle bow of your head to your heart. Just taking a moment for your intentions, prayers, offerings, affirmations. As you're ready, gently opening your eyes. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.